Yahushua Ba'ashem Dash, and the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother I'm Nawala from GMS Chicago, and this is going to go into a quick lesson about Revelations 13 and 10, right? And I decided to do this lesson because we basically did a topic on Revelations 13 and 10 last night for class, right? And it was interesting. So, there's key scriptures that I want to cover on, all right? And it goes to show you that, us, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're going to be ruling over every other heathen nation, all right? They are considered as our enemies, all right? And, basically they're going to go into captivity, all right? For all the shit that they have done unto the nation of Israel, speaking about us, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But this is Revelations 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And there is plain. Right? All these heathen nations have, put Israel through captivity. Especially Esau. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Straight to the point. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Alright, and hey, all these heathen nations, they all have oppressed us, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and they still do to this very day. You look at our people, right? You don't see the majority of our people living stress-free. Right? We're stressed every day. We're in the worst predicament that you can ever imagine. Our people are fucked up out here. Especially living in poverty. Our people basically getting screwed over by these fucking Elamites and these Ishmaelites, and especially Esau, and the system how Esau, the way how Esau sets up the system and shit, really to oppose Jake at the end of the day. But yeah, all these heathen nations and Esau, all right, they're gonna be punished real soon, all right, for all the shit that they've done unto the nation of Israel. But yeah. Zechariah 2 and 8. If this can load any faster. Salakia. The internet is really tweaking. It says, for thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you, toucheth the apple of his eye. And hey, we're considered as the apple of the Lord's eye. Alright, we are the Lord's people, basically, his particular treasure. Alright. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. You see, it says, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. So yeah, we have been scattered onto the four corners of the earth. All right, all our people has been dispersed amongst these nations. A lot of people have, been enslaved by these heathen nations. All right, but soon, the tables are going to turn. All right, everything is going to flip to the point where now these heathen nations in Esau are going to have to serve us, and they're going to have no other choice but to serve us. All right. But it says, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And you shall know that the Lord of hosts has sent me. Revelations 2 and Slakia. Still loading. 2 and 27. 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Basically, we're going to be ruling all over our oppressors, right? And he shall rule them with the rod of iron. and the vessels as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. You see, straight to the point. We're gonna be ruling over our oppressors, and it tells you that numerous times in the scriptures that these heathen nations are basically going to be our slaves. And there's many examples. There's many accounts in the scriptures that you can see that and read that in. It's like my internet is real slow. It says Isaiah 60 and 10, and the sons of strangers. This is speaking about the heathens, all right. As for the word strangers, it's not always going to talk about the heathens, all right. There's other scriptures that speak about the strangers, and really, for the most part, as when it says strangers, is really talking about the Israelites that are in the Gentile state of mindset, those who, are not familiar with the true heritage, basically. But right here in this scripture is actually talking about the heathens, right? And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my mercy have I had, but in my favor had I had mercy on thee. Yeah, Rose. The Lord punished us. All right, but now the Lord is beginning to have mercy on this. These curses are falling upon our enemies, and especially Esau. All right, now Esau is catching hell. Now Esau is coming to the realization that his end of the world is near. All right, the end of his wicked kingdom is really coming to an end. All right, and now the Lord is having mercy on us to the point where real soon, all right, Yahushua is gonna come back and take Esau out of power, and he's gonna have Israel be in rulership. All right, and this is gonna be an everlasting rulership, a kingdom that will never go down, wherein dwelleth righteousness. But say, therefore, thy gates shall be open continually; they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought for the nation, and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. And that's right, they're gonna have to serve us no matter what. They're gonna be our slaves, whether they like it or not. They have no choice. But it says, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yet those nations shall be utterly wasted. Straight to the point. Now I want to bring out this main part for let me see if it's more. Slack. Slow internet today. Don't understand why. Fuck, man. Isaiah 14 and 2. Man, what is with this internet slacking? Well, here's Isaiah 14 and 2. I start at verse 1 because this part is real important, and this is what we went over with in class, right? And yeah, I already know how to break it down, but I'm gonna break it down to you so that you, people who are watching, understand. But here's Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, showing you that the Lord is only for his people, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. And the strangers here in this scripture is really talking about, all right, the Israelites that have, that basically took on Hellenistic customs, all right, those that are no longer familiar with their true heritage, all right, them being, the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of, our people. For majority of our people, all right, they're not waking up to the fact that they're the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. They still think that they're Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the blacks, the Nigerians, Jamaicans, Guatemalans, Colombians, you name it. All these, proverbs and bywords that Esau has labeled you, all right, is not really what you people actually are, all right. So our people have totally forgotten who they really are. All right, people totally forgotten their true language, which is the Hebrew tongue. They've forgotten, our true power. All right, that being of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. And our people have totally forgotten, the true heritage. They don't know who they are. So the strangers is really talking about, all right, Israelites, all right, that have that Gentile state of mind. They took on Hellenistic customs. They follow the ways of the heathens. They basically, for an example, our people in the Greek Empire, all right, they took on Hellenism ways, Hellenistic customs, all right, Greek customs basically. They did a lot of folly and weird shit, all right, when they were under the captivity of these other nations, and that's why the Lord has described our people as Gentiles, all right, strangers. But it says, and the stranger shall be joined with them, that being of Israel, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And before I go any further, I'm going to bring out Ephesians 2 and 8. It's like 2 and 11. But it says, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles, all right, in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh made by hands. And yeah, we were dispersed unto the four corners of the earth. All right, we basically were serving our enemies. Being under the captivity of our enemies, and our people took on the ways of the Gentiles, and the Lord described our people who totally forgot about their true heritage as Gentiles, because straight to the point, our people took on Hellenistic ways. All right, but it says, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh made by hands. And the circumcision, all right, really starts off, here in this scripture, spiritual, all right. By the renewing of your mind, by the washing of this word. But before I cover that part, it says here in verse 12, that at the time ye were without Yahushua, being aliens, being estranged, all right, from our true heritage, being strangers, not familiar with our true heritage as being the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. I love when this works, because I don't know what the fuck is going on. Alright, so basically, what you guys can do that are watching on this video, alright, you can tap in here in verse 12, click onto the interlinear, alright, and tap that word over here for aliens. Alright, you look at the definition for the word aliens, and it's talking about estranged, basically strangers. Alright, but it says that at that time ye were without Yahushua, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. Alright, so our people have totally forgotten, about their true heritage, about their true power. Alright, and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope, and without Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua in the world. So yeah, we got that covered already. Alright, we'll bring out Colossians 2 and 10 real quick. If this can load. Yeah. But yeah, it says Colossians 2 and 10, and ye are complete in him which is the head of all principality and power, in whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands. And the circumcision really is in those two scriptures here, and the other one that I just previously brought out is talking about the spiritual circumcision, all right, by the washing off that old man and becoming that new man, killing off that old man and being renewed in the mind by the washing of this word, all right, following the way you are circumcised in the mind, and putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Yahushua. And yeah, basically I just covered up with that part too. So now you understand. Now we can go back to Isaiah 14 and 2. And now you understand that the strangers in Isaiah 14 and 1 is really talking about, our people, all right, that were in that Gentile state of mindset, basically. Isaiah 14 and 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord. All right, this is talking about the heathen nations. They're going into captivity. They're going to be our slaves. They're going to be serving us. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they, straight to the point, they're going to be our slaves. There is no other way around it. All right? It tells you this numerous of times in the scriptures that the heathens are going to serve us. They're going to be our slaves. But it says, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And that's a future prophecy that's getting ready to happen. All right, as soon as the implementation of RFID microchip comes to pass, and World War III gets kicked off. All right, Yahushua is going to return and basically take Esau out of power, and we're going to be ruling over our oppressors after that. All right, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth after. Israel is going to have an everlasting rulership, and all these heathen nations, and especially Esau, is going to be under us. All right, they're going into captivity. Now it's their turn. But nonetheless, I hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.